My brushes all smell like Cinema Secrets. And if you know, you know. Hi friends. Oh, feels good to be back in the house. For you, there have been 0 breaks because I've done my work and I pre-filmed and I made sure that everything was tickety-boo before I left. But for me, it's been nearly a month since I've been in the studio and it feels so nice to be back here sipping coffee in front of this camera. But today's video is going to be a fun one. So if you were wondering how I got last week's look on my face, which is hilarious to say because I don't even know what it's gonna be yet. You're in luck, folks, because that's gonna be what this video is about. Today, we're gonna be starting a 2 looks 1 palette with the Pat McGrath Labs Divine Rose 2. I cannot believe it's actually here. I never thought I would actually pull the trigger on this one, but it's here and we're gonna play with it. I think we should just dive right in because as usual, I'm running late. So if that sounds like fun to you, and it should, because if you've seen this, you should be excited right now. Keep on watching and let's get started. I'm dying to open this up and take a look at it. I have very delicately opened this once just to make sure that all the shadows were intact. But other than that, I have not touched it at all. So we're gonna do all that together. Oh my God, before we even open the damn palette, we're getting some peel porn. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. Look at this beast. Here she is, folks. Divine Rose.
What you say? That you only meant when.
Oh my God. I have to leave that in because that was silly. Don't worry, everything's fine. It's intact. Nothing broke. It's because I'm trying to not blind you guys, but also not get fingerprints all over this beautiful packaging. Whew, here she is, folks. I'm literally reflecting light off the back wall here. So hopefully I'm not blinding you. This thing is heavy. I don't know if you've ever held one of these in your hands, but it could be used as a paperweight. The shiniest, most opulent thing I think I own. It better be. It was over $100 Canadian. So, you folks ready? 3, 2, 1, go! This palette only contains 2 mattes, and they're right here. So that's all we gotta work with for mattes, folks. So we're gonna have to get creative. The rest are these beautiful shimmers, and there's a couple of what look like kind of foily metallics in there. And not to mention, there's a multi-chrome right there, baby. That's what made me buy this palette, was this multi-chrome. I don't think we're gonna use it today because I wanna save it for the last look. Today I am kind of short on time, so I just want to dive in with a nice, really flirty, simple, heralding in a little bit of springtime. Cherry blossoms are popping up everywhere all over Vancouver, so that will be my inspiration for today. We'll keep it soft and subtle today, but holy dying of these shimmers. I'm gonna swatch a couple for you right now because I have to. The shade names are also in the sleeve. So this is VR Sextra Terrestrial, Gold Lust 001, Astral Pink Moon, which I think I'm gonna use today. These are like silk. They're like dipping your finger into silk. This one is Bronze Rose 005. Yeah, we gotta use that today. The sad thing is that you won't really be able to tell how beautiful these are. My camera won't be able to pick it up with all the studio lighting. All of these have like a shit ton of like micro glitter packed into them as well, but they still remain kind of like ultra metallic looking. Oh my God, that is wild. I'm gonna have to do a little insert here. I'll take another video down here so you can really see the shifts happening. It shifts from green to purple and also I think to yellow. There's also these really like fun little like really more subtle shimmers over here. Ooh. Yeah, those definitely have like a nice softer, more subtle texture to them. This is very pretty. It's got a nice pink shift to it. All right, so today I think we're gonna definitely play a lot in this quadrant here. Let's zoom you in. I will have you know, I did actually try a new eyeshadow primer while I was away. I found one of the primers that was recommended to me by a subscriber. They'd recommended the e.l.f. Putty eyeshadow primer. And since I like the e.l.f. Poreless Putty primer, I thought, you know, why not? So I picked it up and I used it while I was away. And I have to say, it's really not my fave. The texture is very strange. It comes in a little pot like the Poreless Putty primer, but it's so tiny that in order to get into it, I had to scrape product out of it. And I couldn't get enough product to get enough onto the eye. Also, it was very dry. Maybe it had been sitting around at the Shoppers for a little too long. I don't even remember who it was that recommended it, but if you remember who you are, you'll have to let me know if I should just keep fighting with it. I think I want to build this up to be nice and winged out and then elongated. I think I want to do like a little wing, maybe a little inner corner wing too, just like really pulled up and back. I just want to feel fierce today. Ooh, we haven't peeled the mirror yet. I guess we can do that right now. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh yeah, that was such a good one. All right, I think we're just gonna start building things up with this little peachy neutral number. Her name is Naked Blush. I have a feeling that that will be a nice blush as well. Let's just grab her and start fluffing her out here. Ooh, very warm. And I'm just sort of tapping that out here. Definitely want to pull that up and out. That would be a nice blush. Lovely. I think the one thing that kind of puts me off about the Mothership palettes is the metallic to matte ratio. I know that like if you're buying this palette, you probably have a bunch of other neutral palettes full of matte shades on your hands, which I do. But for the sake of the exercise of only using one palette for all the looks, part of me does kind of wish that she put even just one more matte in there and sacrificed one of these like more subdued shimmers. But the formula of her shimmers and her metallics are, I think, what she's more known for and what are the selling point of these palettes. So I do understand why they are so metallic heavy. This shade though is pretty. I feel like I'm gonna feel like a pretty princess today. It like is the perfect nude peach crease shade, which I will use all the way up, I'm pretty sure. It looks a lot more neutral in the pan, so I'm very surprised to see it transform like this into something so warm. So I want to keep this open because I think I want to do mostly shimmer in the inner third, and I'm just dragging that ever so slightly out. I don't want it to be too far away from the eye. We're gonna attempt to keep it subtle today. We'll see how that goes. Let's move on. Smaller brush. Let's dive into Extreme Burgundy just to shade this a little bit more. I don't want to go too dark today, but I do want to build some depth into this outer corner. I love these muted rosy tones. They're some of my favorite tones to play with. You know, it'd be really cool if Pat came out with this companion palette where it was just all mattes. I would buy that and then buy other Mothership palettes to play along with it. Her matte formula is nothing to sneeze at, folks. Like, this is lovely. That blended so easily. Let's go back into this brush with the peach on it just for a quick sec. Just to go over top. I don't want to over blend these. I always do that. That's always been my downfall, is that I just don't know when to quit while I'm ahead. I might just stop here because this is looking pretty good in the viewfinder. All right, let's throw down some shimmer. I was originally thinking maybe going into Divine Dusk, but there's also this up here called Eleganza, which is very fitting since I just spent most of my self-appointed quarantine catching up on Drag Race. Ooh, she's pretty. The underlying theme of these shimmers is that they all kind of have a pink shift to them. You can kind of see in the light, sort of, not really, you probably can't actually. I'm gonna tap into Divine Dusk first, which is the brown with the pink shift. And we're gonna tap that just on the outer third here. We're gonna blend it with that burgundy. Oh, yes. Just a little bit. I don't wanna take it too far in. We're gonna need to save space because it's gonna be a lot of shimmers today. And then we'll blend Eleganza into that. I think for the inner portion of the lid and also just to drag it up here and create some light right in here, I think I want to take Skin Show Rose Opal. That one actually took me by surprise. I was like, that was not what I was expecting. This one's a little bit softer, a little bit creamier, but I feel like this is going to give us that softness. And this too has a pink shift, so it does go quite well with Divine Dusk. I'm gonna continue on with a brush just because my nails, they inhibit me. I'm just gonna take that up onto this area here. You could just do this color with Naked Blush and have a really simple moment. And for the inner corner, let's take this Astral Pink Moon shade. Okay, I don't want this to overpower everything, but I do want to just press this on the inner third a little bit. This was really fun and easy to do. Like, I had a good time putting this together. It was not arduous in any sort of way. I'm gonna go back into Naked Blush and start working that into the lower lash line. Okay, and then let's take just a little touch of Extreme Burgundy just to tuck it into the lash line. All right, let's do a little bit of liner. This could ruin everything, but I do want to have a little bit of structure here. I just want to do a tiny little wing out here, and then maybe just have a little tiny bit of one on the inner corner here. Kind of pulling a Geordie move here. She does this wing shape a lot. I never do that, so I'm like a bit weirded out by how it looks right now, but I feel like it will come together with some mascara and some lashes. So I'm gonna go do that off camera, and then when we come back, we will finish the rest of the face. All right, other side is done. Lashes are on. These are a chopped up pair of Next Level by Boldface. I just chopped them in half, took the inner portion of each lash, and just stuck it on the outer corner for a little bit of a winged out moment. With the latest Boldface purchase, I picked up the super sticky lash glue. It does what it says. It's super sticky. Moving on to a bit of blush. I honestly think that I should use this shade for blush to make it monochromatic, because I think it's gonna look amazing. So I'm gonna take the same brush that I've been using for my eyes, dip it in, and I'm just gonna start blending that up here first. Since everything else is so lifted in this look, I think I should do the same thing with the blush and keep it high and up in this area here. So we're just taking that same brush and buffing that. Oh yeah, this is a very stunning blush shade. I mean, who had blush draping on their bingo card? What else are you gonna do? The shade's called Naked Blush. What do you expect from me? And of course, hit up the chin. I think this definitely calls for a little bit of an ambient blush on the cheek moment. So I'm gonna dip into this little guy here from Hourglass. And then I think I want to hit it with Coastin, because I think it'll bring in the peach really nicely. I'm just going to tap that onto the very front of the cheek. And now all we have left to do is a lip. We're going to keep it simple today. I just want to throw on some liner real quick. And I forgot my gloss in my purse. This one indeed has become the gloss I just bring with me everywhere. This is the Patrick Ta Major Glow Lip Shine in She's Expensive. It's just so perfect to have on hand. It's minty, it's fresh. I think we're done. Let's call it done. All right, this is look number 1, all complete with the Pat McGrath Divine Rose 2. I feel so pretty. Oh my gosh. And these shadows are really, really stunning. The matte formula I love, blends beautifully, looks killer as a blush. PS, these shimmers are amazing, especially the like ultra metallic ones on the far right. This one right here, Astral Pink Moon, I can't. I also am really enjoying the more like softer shimmer formula as well. I think they're really creamy and fun to play with. I cannot wait to dive into a couple of these in look number 2. I also really want to try and incorporate this pink in here just because it looks so bright and fun. But so far, all of the formulas are absolutely living up to the hype. It's a luxury item. It's pure luxury, but it's quality luxury. This packaging is gonna get so dirty so fast. It's already covered in my fingerprints. Even though this look is quite simplistic, I feel like it's gonna be hard to top this because I just feel like this look is a whole mood. I have to go film another video, so I'm gonna bounce. But I am really looking forward to look number 2, which I hope you will stick around for because it is coming to you right now. And we're back. All right, it is look number 2 today with the Pat McGrath Divine Rose 2 palette. As usual, I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing with it today, but I really want to just tap into as many of these insane metallics that I can. We're absolutely getting into the multi-chrome. I mean, this is the whole reason I bought the palette. Also, this pink looks really fun. I'll see if I can work that in somehow, but it's definitely gonna be a little extra today. Also, I don't know if I mentioned this in the first look, but this palette weighs like a pound. It's crazy. I thought it had something to do with what it was made of because it does feel very weighty, but I just had a subscriber tell me in the comments of my latest video, if you haven't seen it yet, I will link it up here. It is part 2 of the brand compendium. They just told me that eyeshadow manufacturers weight their palettes down with actual weights so that they feel more like a luxury product, so that they feel more expensive. That just blew my mind. Like, I had no idea. There's so much I don't know about makeup, but that one got me. So thank you for that little bit of trivia. That was fun to learn. Let's zoom you in. Still not entirely satisfied with the angle of the camera. As a very obsessive compulsive person, I will never be happy with it. I would give my left eyebrow for a monitor. All right, let's build up a nice heavy crease. Since there are only 2 mattes in the palette, we have to go in with both of them again. This time though, I think I will rely more heavily on extreme burgundy over in this corner. But let's start by building this back up again. And I'm gonna try not to get too repetitive. I'm gonna try and switch up the shape a little bit. Let's dip into that extreme burgundy and really try and deepen this up, keeping everything nice and high and open so that there's lots of room. Oof. I really like that shape. I don't really want to do a cut crease, but I understand that like if I do put some concealer down, then the shimmers will have a better chance of adhering. Yeah, I should probably do that, huh? Before we do that, I think I want to swatch this pink. Oh yeah, I want to try and incorporate it somehow because I feel like we gotta. You know, I think the multi-chrome will go right up in here in the center. The pink will kind of be the inner third portion. And even though it doesn't really go, I think we're gonna have to do the gold on the inner corner and like on the lower lash line. It's too pretty not to use. All right, let's cut a crease. All right, moment of truth. I'm gonna put this beautiful Sextra Terrestrial Multi-Chrome all over my eyelid. It's kind of a shame that multi-chromes really don't do well on camera because they are so bonkers to look at in person. All right, I'm gonna take a little brush and try and get it tucked up into that edge. It's surprisingly soft and really workable. Like it picked up on the brush really easily too. It really is quite something else. Let's pick up a little bit of this Rose Seduction and tap that onto the inner third. Just on this little outer corner here to blend the 2 worlds together, let's take Eleganza. And then quickly back into Extreme Burgundy, just to blend that together. Let's take a little bit of this Gold Leaf 101 and start tapping it into the inner corner. Kind of want to use it to top this pink a little bit as well. And I'm going to take that gold leaf onto the lower lash line. Let's go back into Extreme Burgundy and smoke this out on the outer third. And then let's smoke that out with a little more Naked Blush. Now I need to figure out what to put in the waterline because I don't really know what to do. I might do some gold. That was Marigold from the ColourPop Robbie D. Christie collection. And then I'm gonna top it with a little bit of Dirty Talk. I think I do want to go into Astral Pink Moon and just tap that into the inner corner just to add a bit of brightness. It's not like the most groundbreaking look I've ever done. I think it is missing something in this area though. I think I might take Naked Blush and just drag it in a little further. Yeah, and then just a tiny bit of burgundy. All right, I think this is good. I think this is a good place to leave it. One of these shades, I don't know which one is the culprit, but it definitely transferred up into the brow area. Either way though, I think this is really pretty. So I'm going to go off camera, do all this on the other side, put on some lashes, and then we will come back and finish the rest of the look. All right, other side is done. Lashes are on. These are Alter Ego by Boldface, and I think they're getting to the point where they're kind of separating from the band a little bit, and so the inner corner is kind of poking me in the eyelid, which is fun. This side came out a lot cleaner. I think I was a bit more precise with my concealer application, so it is looking a little bit nicer on this side, I believe. All right, moving on, let's do a little bit of blush. I already threw on a little bit of that Naked blush shade, just sort of higher on the temples. But for the rest of my blush, I wanted to do something new. So I bought this thinking that it would be the perfect blush companion for the Divine Rose 2 palette. This is the Melt Digital Dust Duo Blush in Raw Honey. This has been on my Sephora wish list for months. They finally restocked it, so I just picked it up. Also saved the mirror sticker for you. You're welcome. Oh yeah, but I just thought these two colors would go really, really well, especially with those two crease shades. So the way I've been using it typically is actually to go first into the darker shade on the left side, just to start with and build it onto the cheek. It is a super glowy blush. It does have some pigment, but it is really, really glowy, which is why I wanted to lay down some matte blush. I have used it on its own, but it just ends up getting real shiny up in here. And then I like to dip into the lighter side and start to blend that. Just that lighter, brighter shade just kind of pops on the apple of the cheek. How beautiful is that? Oh. And the way it hits the light when you smile, it's like, honestly, if you're not using blush toppers, you're missing out. For highlight, I think I want to do Smoke and Whistles, which is a ColourPop Super Shock. It's quite old, just in case you were looking for it on the ColourPop website. I doubt they have it anymore, but I'm sure they have something very similar. Look at that, isn't that pretty? Okie doke, let's pop on a lip. I think I'm going to line with Haus Labs Rip Lip Liner in the color Myth, which has become a quick favorite of mine. All right, and I think I want to give this a try. This is one of the Danessa Myricks color fixes, and this is in the shade Creme Brulee. They finally came to Sephora. I picked one up just to test it out. I also thought that this color would go really, really well with the Rose palette. My initial thought was to use this as a blush, but when I discovered that the Naked blush shade in the palette works so well as a blush, I decided to scrap that idea. But it does work as a blush. I've used it before. It's actually stunning all over the face. But let's try it on the lip today. The color fixes are actually kind of wild. They just sort of work as anything. It's really pretty, hey? I do think I want to lighten the center just like a little bit. Let's use Lilies by Noctex. This combo's getting a little buck wild, but I don't hate it. I still might want a gloss. I just really love dark nude matte lips. I think that's just my personal preference, but I can understand why a gloss would really go with this look. All right, I'm caving. I'm gonna put a gloss on because I think it's gonna look pretty. This is one of the Robbie D. Christie Luxe glosses from the ColourPop collection. This is in the shade Wildflower. And that is a wrap on this 2 looks 1 palette with the Pat McGrath Divine Rose 2 palette. I think this palette really was worth the wait for me. I'm really glad that I have not purchased any other Mothership palettes before this. I don't have the money to go out and buy all of the ones I want, so holding out for this one I think was the right choice. This one will get some use. On one hand, it does seem incredibly opulent and rich and fantastic, but on the other hand, there's something so utilitarian about this palette. I feel like it's so easy to go from simple, rosy, nude, you know, throw on and go, or ultra metallic, glitzy, alien fantasy. Even though there's only 10 shades in this palette, it feels like there's more. Like Astral Pink Moon, you know, is gorgeous on its own, but it transforms things. It's like a really beautiful topper. I also didn't expect to like the more subdued side as much as I did, but honestly, I think look number 1 is still my favorite of the 2. As much as I like showcasing the bolder shades in this palette, there was something really magical about paring it all the way down, but I would love to know what your favorite look from this palette was. I'm gonna try and turn off one of my lights and see if we can catch this shift. Because it feels like such a collector's item, part of me really wants to preserve this and only take it out on special occasions, but there's another side of me that really sees how useful this could be day to day. I think the larger part of me just wants to not be so precious with it and get tons of use out of it, really dig into those pans, make a mess, which seems almost sacrilegious in a way, but I'm the kind of person that will like crack the spine of a book. I just love when my things get wear and tear. It's a sign of love and it's a sign of use. So I don't know, there's a part of me that really gets a lot of glee out of messing up a palette. Is that weird? I don't know. I just don't like being precious with my things. So I will definitely be using this a lot. And I'm just so happy it's mine and I bought it and like it's as good as people say it is. It's worth the hype. And yes, I do see the irony in harping on Natasha Denona in my last video for being ridiculously expensive. This is the exact same price point. I get it. I don't know. There's something so special about the formulas here. I feel like for me, it is almost worth that price tag. I don't want to say it is because we absolutely know that it does not cost that much to manufacture these eyeshadows. It just doesn't. There's a huge markup here, but I feel like with incredibly high-end makeup, you kind of have to pick your battles, especially if you're not an extremely wealthy person, like you cannot afford it all. And if you are a makeup collector or a makeup enthusiast and you really want to treat yourself, you really have to decide what is going to be worth it for you. And I feel like above all the other higher end luxury makeup brands, especially for eyeshadows, Pat McGrath for me is kind of at the top of the list. But I'm curious to know what luxury makeup brand is the one that you will spring for. Is there a luxury product out there that made you completely throw away your inhibitions? Also, have you ever bought a Pat McGrath Mothership palette? Have you picked this one up? Do you plan on picking this one up? If you've worked with it, do you think it's worth the price tag? I would love to know all of your opinions down below. All right, I think I'm just gonna leave it there, folks. So let me just rattle it off to you real quick here. Here are the many ways you can help out my channel. You can give this video a huge thumbs up. You can comment down below what you thought of everything. You can subscribe. Any and all engagement with this video is crucial for a small creator like me to have success in the algorithm. So if you have a few spare seconds of your life, please engage with this video. You can follow me on other social media. I will leave those right there. If you wish to support me financially, please go check out my Patreon. The link is in the description box down below, along with a bunch of petitions to sign, places to donate to the AAPI community. All right, folks, with that, please stay safe, stay sane, wash your hands, wear a mask, stay home if you can. Just keep doing your best, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.